human mind steps aside, giving way to new realms and reality alternatives. Welcome to the Alt Series.
Welcome to the Crimson Circle Connection Center, once again here in Louisville, Colorado. And we are here, as you just heard, for number 5 in the Alt series. And guess what? Jeff is getting ready with Adamus. Really getting ready. You can feel the energies. Oh, boy. So, yeah, well, we're here to support that. So in support of that, we're going to, whether you're here or online, welcome. We're going to take some good deep breaths, that conscious breath of life. So with that, really take that good deep breath, breathe it in, and let it flow. Feel the air, the energies moving through you. And again, it's all just your energies. Take the good deep breath. Feel all the people all over the world listening to this. Breathe and feel. Breathe and allow the highest potentials. Adamus is here. Breathe him in. He's here for each and every one of us always. So breathe those energies in as we move into Adamus.
I am that I am. Adamus of Sovereign Domain. Welcome, everybody. Welcome as I'm getting a little grounded here in this space. I know I've been coming in a lot lately, but I backed away for a while just to prepare myself for this and what comes next. So I'm getting used to, but there's something missing here, something not quite right about the space, something off. What could that possibly be other than my coffee? Thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome.
Not only that, but look at this little rose.
It's your rose.
Edible?
No. But it can go up there in your lapel.
It could
And
absolutely.
these fine guests of ours today brought beautiful little treats for Donna.
Yes, and is that real coffee in
And
there?
I didn't spit
Because
in it today.
we've been accused of not drinking coffee.
It's real.
Yes, once in a while, Caldra, he drinks some swill of he called
Kombucha. It moves out the pipes.
It does
That's
what?
It moves through you.
It moves through you.
Us old people need help.
Good, thank you. Treats. Linda.
No, thank you.
Oh, good. Well, we'll just set them here for right now as we get into it. Salute to everybody. Oh, I long for these moments. Good. So let's take a deep breath. We have a lot to cover today. This is going to be one of the best shouts ever,
Whoa.
or one of the worst.
How do you know?
Or one of the worst. Well, I know what we're going to be doing. It's going to be one of those memorable, they'll look back, over the history of all the shouts, that was quite a shout, or you might as well skip that, go on to the next one, go on to March. And it's all up to you. It's not up to me. I'm going to be doing my role. I'm going to be kind of like a game show host today. That's what I aspire to do. If I was to come back on Earth, which there is no way I would ever do that, I'd be a game show host. I mean, because you know why? It's all one great big game. Humans take it so seriously. I'd host This Is Your Rotten Life, or This Is Your, This Is Your Good Life. One of the two. What a great job! You get paid a lot. You get to be on television. Everybody hangs on every word you say. You're the ultimate judge and authority, which I am anyway. But to be a game show host, what a delight. So today is going to be a little bit like a game show, but before we get into it, let's take a good deep breath and welcome everybody online. Welcome to this, this time, St. Valentine's Day month. I'm just waiting for there to be a Saint Germain Day. Wouldn't that be something
What the
special?
hell would that look like?
It'd be better than these hearts in the background. It would be fleur de lis and hearts and spades and everything else. We'd mix it all up. It'd be Saint Germain Day. Well, couldn't you do something to make that happen? Let's just start it anyway. let's make it March 22nd.
Oh, yeah. Of course, of course.
Before we go any further, let's do one thing. Let's take a deep breath and let yourself be in the safe space. You're going to need it. Oh, no, you're going to need it. Today, for some of you, but coming up to March 22nd, you're going to need that safe space. You know, humans, you even, have tended to look on the outside for the safe space. And right now, it's not going to be there. Not going to be there. If you're relying on the whole world to kind of settle down, for the whole world to be a safer place, it's just not. I mean, it's going to be quantum crazy this year and in the next couple of years. But the nice thing is that safe space, it's already right there. Maybe you haven't tapped into it lately. Maybe you thought this was the crazy place. You got all the aspects, you got all the commotion, you got things going on. It's like, oh no, this isn't safe. I need to find that safe space on the outside. But it is right here.
Can you do that on an airplane and find your safe space?
Absolutely.
You're sure?
Anywhere. You can be in the worst part of town. You can be in the middle of your crazy dreams at night. You can be right here at the Crimson Circle Connection Center, and still you have that safe space. So what I'd like to do, heads up to the back desk, a little music in the background, our today's music. Marab just used that. I'd like you to feel into that safe space. Maybe you haven't tapped into it a while, and maybe you don't think it's there, but it is. Let's allow that to come forth right now. Let's take a deep breath. You're the safe space. You know, you've had all these aspects and this mind crap going on, and who am I, and what am I supposed to be doing, and what am I here on the planet for, and how do I overcome the ghosts and the demons within? That's in the past. It truly is. And there's kind of a simple formula. As the world goes crazier, you're going to be more sane. You're going to be more safe. It's kind of like you're watching the outside world and, it's going to be going crazy. And suddenly you realize, I've really cleaned up a lot of the stuff inside. The aspects, they're integrating back. All that those old memories, that head talk. Something's been happening all this time. Something's been happening. It's cleaning itself up, because truly your own past lives, they're coming into realization. They're letting go of stuff. That's the key to everything. Letting go of the wounds and the old issues and the old fears. So you realize that, the safe space has been in the making, and now it's available right now. Whereas it used to be pretty unsafe going inside. Well, sometimes you do anything to avoid it, just keeping yourself so busy with kind of useless activities, frantic activities, just to avoid what's inside. But now you go in there and check it out. Check it out. It's getting pretty balanced. It's not about what you're doing in life right now. It's not about activities. It's not about any of that. It's kind of just getting back in touch with that safe space. And why is it there right now? Why? Well, because you've been doing a lot of allowing. Well, I know you curse me every time I mention allowing, and you're like, how much more allowing can I do? A lot. The safe space is there because you're allowing yourself to connect once again to what you'd call your soul. And more than that, the soul's wonderful, but the master. The master. Some would call it, maybe an oversoul or your higher self or that. And we use the term master, meaning that it's the wisdom of all your past lives brought together in that kind of human-like persona, but a human that's in wisdom, in balance, and safe. That master, just imagine for a moment all of your lifetimes now, their wisdom, not their crap, but their wisdom. And your wisdom from this lifetime, that's the master. And what's happening now, just as a part of a natural process, facilitated by your allowing, is that you're starting to commune with the master. Maybe you didn't even realize it. Maybe it was just kind of a subtle background thing. Maybe you were expecting voices, but it's here now. And the master, doesn't tell you what to do, when to do it. Master loves just chatting if that's what you want to do. But the master is there just emanating its light to you, the human who's still here. Oh, you, the human, this lifetime, this is of prime importance to the soul, to the master, what you're doing here. And you can tap back into that. Commune with it. Sam talked a lot about communing, communicating, energy exchange. And again, don't expect words, but do expect that the master has tremendous empathy, because it is the culmination of your human lives. Master isn't some fluffy angel. Master doesn't have wings like angels do, because the master comes from the human, from all the experiences, and it's now the wisdom. Let yourself feel that. Let it come to you. You don't have to reach out for it. You don't have to go out there. Let it come to you. As you radiate your light as a human on the planet, the master is radiating their light to you, just to you, only to you. And here's that safe space. Here's where you realize that you're not crazy. You're not crazy. Oh, there's been times when you thought you were, and times when you just didn't fit into the rest of the world, times when you just wondered, what the hell am I doing here? But now you feel into the master, and you start to remember. And I have to point out very, very carefully here, you start to remember, and there's still a little bit of that old mind self, the human mind self, that jumps in and says, you're making this up. No, you're not. Not at all. You're starting to get glimpses and remembrances, and they may not be clear right away, and you may not get it precisely. I mean, if you're looking for dates and times and specifics, but you're starting to get it. And as you allow this, you start to realize more and more why you're here. And you start to remember. Start to remember the whole journey of getting here. And you realize, I am not crazy. That is being in the safe space. I know for so many of you, you've gone through that in your life. I must be crazy. What I'm doing doesn't make sense. It's not logical. You've tried to copy other people. You've tried to, be like them, and that didn't work. And then you figure you're double crazy. You don't fit in with them either. That's a terrible space to be in. I am crazy. But we get here, particularly right on the eve of Heaven's Cross, and you feel into that safety within the master, and you realize, damn, I wasn't crazy. I was just a rebel, a pirate. I took a much less traveled road. I took a much different path. That's where I come to you and say, so had to do it all over again, would you? And you say, hell yes. Hell yes. And then you tell me, I knew I was going to get through it. I knew it all worked out. I knew it all the way along. And then I remind you of a lot of our late night conversations and the bitching and the moaning. And, oh, Adamus, I was just fooling you. I knew I was going to get here. Feel into the safe space. It's always there for you. Some days may be a little bit more clear than other days, but it becomes safer and safer and safer, even in a crazy world. As you remember really who you are, why you're here, what you're doing, and of your true abilities, and work with energy in a conscious way to really choose the life you want. Let's breathe into that safe space. Remember, it's not out there. Definitely not out there. It's right here, always has been. Good. All right. Let's continue on with the day. After I have a little bite, Linda. I love coming in like this because I can really experience the physical. It's one of the things that you're going to have once you're gone from this planet. Because you've been here and you spent so many lifetimes, you'll always be able to recreate and to remember what the physical was like without getting stuck in it. So I can come here and I can enjoy the coffee and the treats. I can enjoy the laughter. I can enjoy the things of being human because I have been in the past. The angelic beings that have never been here, they can't do that until they come here, until they go through this whole series of lifetimes. And they'll look at you in awe, the ones who have never been here. It's like, wow, look what you can do. You can manifest what appears to be a physical body. Well, pretty easy to do. You can enjoy the sensuality of being a human, but then you can get the hell out of it when things start going really crazy. So I do love coming in, being close, but even as with all the lifetimes I've had with my realization, I still feel the gravity of this planet. I can be here for a little while, but then it starts to feel very, very dense. And, in kind of non-physical way, I start to feel nauseous if I'm around too much, not because of you, but just because of the because of the density. I start to feel compressed, and I start to remember what pain was like, and I start to remember what forgetfulness was like. And so I do have to buzz out, get out of here. I'd say a couple of days at the most, but that's actually now maybe just a few hours, and I need to leave. You're feeling that right now in yourself as the gravity on the planet lightens up. And when I say gravity, just for those of you who are new, a very special welcome for all the new ones. Yes, don't be shocked by what we do today, because we do this all the time. It's a little different if you've taken some other spiritual paths. We do things a little bit different here. You'll see, hang in there. So right now the gravity is loosening, and it's not just physical, it's emotional gravity. We've talked about it, the orbiting of all your emotions and everything else. It's lightening up right now, and it's causing you to remember what it's like to not be in physical form. And that's kind of wonderful, but kind of frustrating at the same time. Because as you start to remember, as the gravity lifts, you're like, I need to get out of there quickly. I need to be done with this old way of doing things, this very heavy way of doing things. Right now, I'm checking in very regularly on Shaumbra, and as is Kuthumi, Tobias around more now that Sam has rejoined him. Tobias and Cauldre, they're developing this little relationship on the side. And, it went a long time when Tobias didn't check in on Cauldre. Cauldre didn't talk to him. It was kind of part of our agreement. When Tobias left, I came in. I said, okay, here's the deal. Tobias, Caldra, you can't be, stay connected. You have to let go. That I can't have this with you talking about me behind my back and Caldra complaining all the time. So you have to do. So they cut the connection for a long time. Now that Sam's integrated back into Tobias, now they're starting this friendship, and I have got to wonder what's going to become of that. Is he going to be running off to Tobias every time he doesn't like something I say? Thank you, man. I'm watching it very carefully. I'll keep you tuned into that, what's happening there. And Tobias in the background saying, St. Germain, he deserves the break from you once in a while. So anyway, back to the point. There's a lot going on right now. You probably knew that inside, and a feeling of discomfort, unease, maybe imbalance, and just not connected like you were at one time. But that's a good thing. Now it's going to intensify between now and Heaven's Cross. Oh, it will. I'd like to tell you that you're going to get more uncomfortable. But that's good. Now I want you to really dive into it. Don't resist it. Feel into it. Because what's happening is everything from an atomic level, the gravity that keeps all the electrons in place until they jump out of place, that's loosening up. And everything in the atomic structure is, it's like an orbit. It's like, the planets are around the sun, but here's the atomic structure at work. That's changing. And most people will never realize it. They'll never associate it with that. But it changes everything in your biology, in your mind. It changes how the neurons work. It changes everything. That gravity in that atomic orbit is changing right now. One of the biggest things that's going to happen is that, the electrons spin around, and at a certain point they jump. They go into another atomic orbit. What's happening now is the electrons are loosening up, and they're just going to disappear. Man, they're not just going to jump into another orbit. They're going to disappear from the human measurement perspective. And when the scientists start looking at this, going to, what the hell? Where'd that? Did you guys see a loose electron around here anywhere? Because it's gone, it's missing, and that changes the atomic structure. In the past, when the electrons hopped over somewhere else to another atom and combined there, it was pretty predictable. But now they just go away. And then they reappear sometimes, but not all the time, somewhere else, and not always within another atom. I mean, it's mind-blowing what's happening. It's happening at such subtle levels, it's like such a micro level. Everybody's paying attention to what's happening out there in the world. Well, most people, but what they're not seeing is what's happening at some of the basic levels. We'll talk about it more later, not today, but it's even changing the electromagnetics. Electromagnetics are a field that create the patterns for the atomic structure to do their thing. And even the electromagnetics are changing. Magnetics, and I don't want to get too far off today, but, magnetics occur when pure light, which comes from energy, when pure light separates. And now you have a magnetic force that will bring them back together or repel them. That's what creates electromagnetic fields, which holds a lot of stuff in along with gravity. And even the magnetics that would attract or repel things within an electromagnetic field are changing. So you can imagine everything now in an electromagnetic field, which your reality is based on, and then you have objects, physical objects within that field, and now the electromagnetics change. They shift, and they're no longer in defined patterns or frequencies. and you no longer have the old way of magnetics doing the attracting or the repelling. And suddenly it appears to be chaos. Suddenly, like, things aren't held together like they were before. That's what's happening on a very subtle level. You know, if you would ask a typical scientist or physicist, they'd tell you you're crazy. But of course, they told Einstein he was crazy. Many times. Many times. At one point, they kind of humored him, and they said, yeah, okay, send in another one of your papers, and it went in the trash can. Until 5, 10, 20 years later, they realized, oh boy, he really had something there. You know, we better change the history books. And that's what's happening right now. The whole change in the way reality, human reality, is created. And you're feeling it. You're feeling it in everything, in your mind and your body. And that's a good thing. Don't resist it, please. Allow it. Bring it in full force. And yes, it's going to feel strange. Your body is going to definitely feel strange, and you're going to feel that you're maybe losing your memory, your mind. You won't be able to do simple things like you used to do. But it's all part of the transformation that takes place. Really dive into it, allow it, bring it on into your life. I know that's seems counterintuitive, but bring it on. You're just going through a change, and that will lead to a faster, quicker integration of the light body and of the intelligence, the divine intelligence. It's just a transition you're going through right now, especially as we come to this time of Heaven's Cross. How far away is that? Is that like 45 days, I believe, 45 days and counting to Heaven's Cross, 46 depending where you live. Almost here. And now I want to just focus on this for a moment. We started talking about it, St. Germain, me, back at our Dream of the Merlin event back in September. And even then, we didn't have an exact date. It took another month or two for that date to come about. This event is, and Calder keeps kind of like trembling in the knees, saying, okay, you know, Adamus, you're really making a big thing out of this. And then he reminds me of my one little mistake with COVID. One mistake. All the channelings I've ever done, just one little blip, because I didn't realize humans were ready for such a big cleansing by allowing COVID to stick around. I don't want to say it was a mistake. It was slight miscalculation on my part. So I'm in this kind of a constant dialogue battle with Caldera. He's saying, tone it down, Adamus, tone it down on this whole Heaven's Cross thing, because, if you're not right about it, adios, goodbye. I'll go the other way. I'll go even more emphatic than I've ever been. This is it, folks. This is it. It's not scary. It's not frightening. What happens is unprecedented on the planet. It changes everything because it changes the physics. Not just earth physics, but the metaphysical physics. And therefore it changes humanity. To me, it's so obvious that it's here because we're at this point of the new human species. And it's obvious the work you're doing on the planet and in the other realms. No, this is it. It's unprecedented. Now, don't expect a big event that day. or expect a big event that day. It's what happens as a result of it. It's this fast, very, very fast change, a quantum change on the planet, and it's going to cause tremendous disruption. You already know that. Tremendous disruption, but the biggest thing that it's going to disrupt, don't be looking like on the outside for, a big war or every volcano to start erupting at the same time. It's going to affect the human mental balance. And it's going to do it at first very small, very tiny. But then it's going to keep growing and growing and growing. Because most humans and the way they're connected and balanced mentally and physically into the planet is going to start changing. They're going to start losing it more than they are now. More than they are now. And you're going to see people just doing crazy things, as we talked about in Pronost. Unusual, odd things. You're going to see more and more people institutionalized, more and more people taking medications, unfortunately, more and more people with just bizarre behavior. And I'm not talking bad, evil, dark, just odd and bizarre type of behaviors, because they're no longer connected the way they're used to from many, many lifetimes, not just this lifetime. It's going to affect mental health more than anything. Now, it'll start showing up in the news at some point, particularly with people that well-known, whether it's, let's say, politicians or high-profile business leaders or others who are well-known, and just suddenly they're doing very strange things. And they're, well, compared to now, no, now would be normal. And I'm just talking really odd behavior. And then they'll be talked about. Other people are saying, well, I'm going to use the Pope for an example, but it's not necessarily going to be the Pope, probably. Why is the Pope doing such strange things? And they're all going to start talking about the Pope, but pretty soon they're going to find themselves in that same club. They're doing the strange things now. They kind of joined the Pope cult of odd behavior. And pretty soon you're going to notice, my gosh, the whole world is going crazy. Yep, it is. I mean, and so don't expect what you would consider the big external events, major forest fires or floods or tsunamis or things like that. The humans want that kind of drama, I guess. They want to look at it in the paper. Oh,
Has it already started, or is it going to start?
oh, it's going to start. I mean, there's always a degree of craziness, but no, things are going to go bizarre. You're going to feel like you're in Alice in Wonderland. You're going to feel like you're down in the rabbit hole and what is going on with people. And that's when you take a deep breath and you remember. You know, we've talked about it, and you realize that it's just this whole changing of the physics, the gravity, the electromagnetics, the atomic structure, everything that's held things together is changing. That gives way, or that leads the way into eventually the new human species. It's going to change science, not on March 22nd, but in the years to come. It's going to change humans' concept of, and their consciousness of living on the planet, of what leadership should be, of what business should be. It's going to change all those. These are all pretty archaic systems. It's going to spur the technology developments, but it's going to change everything. But again, the baseline, the real thing where it's going to start is in the mental balance of people doing crazy things. So, and that's okay. You'll be able to observe it without being affected by it. It's not yours. It's just happening on the planet. And there will be those who go into drama about it, but you don't need to. Humans are actually fairly resilient. They're either going to die and come back in another lifetime and adapt, or they're going to adapt on the fly. They're pretty resilient. Even in the case of mental imbalance, there comes a point where they have to face themselves and what they're going through. They'll turn inwards. So, yes, it's going to get kind of crazy. But have fun with it. I know it sounds strange, but have fun with the craziness of the planet, and take great comfort in knowing you've been through it already. You've been through it, and yes, you're feeling it in your bodies right now. You're feeling it in your everyday activities, and that's great. If you weren't, I'd be worried. I wouldn't have done my job. If you were just saying, well, everything's staying the same, nothing's changing. No, it should be changing rapidly right now. So Heaven's Cross, We're going to be doing a question and answer about it fairly soon for all Shaumbra. We're going to answer a lot of the questions about what's happening. And yes, there's a lot that I haven't said, partly because I want you to experience it as you're going through. I don't want to script the thing out for you and tell you every little thing that's going to happen, other than it's what you came here to do on this planet. It leads me to talking about realm walkers. I asked Cauldre to write an article about it. Anybody read it? Probably not. A couple. All right, over here. I asked him to write this article about realm walkers. And basically what it is many of you, not all of you, but many of you have come into this lifetime to facilitate this whole Heaven's Cross. I'm just going to call it the apocalypse right now, but you came here to facilitate it. Heaven's Cross is a nice word, nice phrase. Doesn't raise too many eyebrows. It sounds kind of nice. If I'd have called it the apocalypse right away, that scared the hell out of some of you. But it is. It's the apocalypse. A lot of you came into this lifetime not knowing when it would happen or not even sure it would happen, but you came in prepared. And you took on relatively normal human lives. You didn't take on high-status jobs. You didn't take on intense professions. You didn't necessarily even take on big families. You stayed pretty low-key because a lot of yourself was in the other realms. We can't do this thing of Heaven's Cross, the apocalypse, without the counterbalance in the other realms. It takes, for it to go gracefully, relatively gracefully, it takes those who are embodied in human form here on the planet to also be working in the other realms, to maintain a balance, to help architect the thing in a way, not literally, but you've woven your DNA into this whole apocalypse on the other realms. So it has a human familiarity to it. Has to have that human familiarity on the other realms to maintain a balance. You've been helping to create this on the other side, and you've been helping to kind of pave the road, pave the pathway. I think I spoke at one point about it being like a beautiful parkway, through a beautiful forest being built and trees and lakes. And this is the pathway that many of you are going to take as you access the other realms. The important thing is to make sure it's a smooth and safe journey going into the other realms. It is not astral projection. You are not leaving your body. You are expanding into the other realms. In the past, you've expanded to a certain extent, and then you contract again. You get so far, and you hit that angelic ceiling, that kind of what they call the veil, and then you retreat back to the body. Now, that veil is coming off. Now you expand far beyond into the other realms. If it wasn't for the realm walkers, those who are on the planet right now and helping in the other realms, you could get lost out there, or you get to a point it wouldn't feel safe. It would feel so unfamiliar that you might back down. So many of you have been these realm walkers and helping to build this. And what you're really doing is weaving in the human familiarity, the human consciousness into the other realms. You're also going to be there, you could say, in a way of speaking, cheering those along who are taking this pathway, who are expanding into the beyond, into the other realms. You're going to be there, like you've seen, Cauldre's given me an example. You've got a running marathon, and there's people along the way cheering on the bikers or the runners or whatever. You're going to be there doing that, encouraging people. Don't collapse now. Don't just try to refocus on Earth. Let yourself expand. You're going to be there greeting those who kind of, there's not really a cross-through point, but kind of there is. There's a point of where you're like, oh shit, I'm here. And I've expanded enough, and it's like, I'm now in the other realms. The realm workers are there to honor you and to ask you to roam around a bit. Let yourself feel, take in all the energies. These are the other realms. These are beyond Earth itself. These are non-physical. This is also where the real communing with the soul can take place. It's kind of hard to do when you're here in human form, but this is where the real communing is done with the master and the soul. The realm workers are there also to remind you, don't get trapped out here, or don't decide that you're going to die at this point. They're going to remind you, okay, you've expanded out here. Now, bring what you've taken in, what you've felt, bring it back with you now to human back on Earth. A lot of this will occur during the dream state, but then you'll even go beyond that. It'll occur in the waking state. You might be driving along. Well, that's a bad one. Calder is reminding me. Linda, do not do that. You might be sitting on a park bench, and now you feel very expanded. Some of you might feel, oh, I'm going to pass out. I'm going to faint right here, but you're not going to. That fainting thing is just a warning system, kind of an alert system from your human biology saying, uh-oh, something's wrong. You're not going to faint. Don't pull back. Just allow yourself to keep expanding. There's plenty of help and guidance. There's plenty of the realm workers and the angelic beings working together to make sure you have a very safe expansion into the other realms. But then you want to, after roaming around a bit, you want to bring that back with you. There are energies there that are not currently here on the planet. There are crystalline energies there that you're going to be bringing back with you. In the past, even in your, like say, in your dream states, you go out there, but then when you start re-entering your Earth orbit, you'd lose it. You couldn't bring it back with you. It was like it just evaporated, and it was so frustrating because in the dream state, you were like, I know it's there. I've got it with me. I'm holding on, coming back to my physical body. Damn, it's gone. Now you'll be able to bring that back. Now, I won't go into it right now what to do with it, but it's you. It's the essence of you. It's the memories of you. It's the Christ consciousness of you, and you're going to be bringing that back. Not to go out and save the world or anything like that, but now to bring that into your life. It changes you, yes, and it eventually changes the world, but not because you're forcing it on them, but simply a new type of light and consciousness on the planet that also changes the electromagnetics and the gravity and everything else that is holding things together. But this new Christ consciousness, it doesn't have to hold things together like the old energies did. The old energies were almost, there were a structure, almost a mandate of how to hold this physical realm in place. You come to realize it doesn't need to be held in place. It doesn't need a strict logic or pattern to it. It's a coding of energy that doesn't need the limitations. And you bring that back into your life. And the realm workers, that you who are out there, you who have wondered, so many of you, why didn't I have a great big life? And why did I leave a relatively quiet life? Because you've been doing that. And it wouldn't have worked for you to do both. Those of you who are not the realm workers, who've had pretty active human lives, you couldn't have handled the stress and the tension and the really the extreme dualities. So, and many of you, as Calder asked me right away if he was a realm worker, and it's like, there is no way. His job is to be here. His job is to allow the energies from myself and the others to come in. Whereas if he was trying to do both in the other realms, it physically and mentally wouldn't have been able to do it. So right now, just take a moment to feel in. And you don't get a special badge right now, later. And there's something to be said about being active and focused here. There's something to be said about being a realm walker on the other side, a realm worker. Feel into it for a moment. Maybe this is what you've been doing. Maybe the human's been saying, what the hell am I doing here? And I haven't accomplished anything in life. It's like, you wouldn't even begin to understand what has been happening in the other realms. You will, but right now, what you've been doing is absolutely necessary, important, and it creates such a pathway now for the opening of Heaven's Cross. What I'm trying to do is to help many of you understand, stop doubting yourself. The human doubting itself. What good have I done here? You've done a tremendous amount of good. And for those who aren't the realm walkers, you've been here, being grounded here, bringing in new energies here. It has to have both. It has to work together. There has to be that balance. There has to be that weaving of familiarity in the other realms, so that when Shaumbra expands out there with the coming of Heaven's Cross, when you expand out there, that it doesn't overwhelm you. It's a familiar, safe space. So it's very important. And I'll make one other note here. It's my Machio alert note. Some of you, you're Machio. Oh. What's happening beginning March 22nd? And yes, some of you are saying, no, Adamus, you didn't get the astrology right. It's March 23rd. No, I got it very right. It's not astrology that has created this event. It's consciousness. And what happens is that on March 22nd, as Heaven's Cross, as the apocalypse begins, then it intensifies the beneficial aspects of astrology, what happens on the 23rd. It's kind of like a turbocharge on the astrology. Wouldn't make sense to have all this run by astrology? Like your galactic destiny? No. It's consciousness on the 22nd. Second Machio alert point for those who've said, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been out there and going on the other side, and I'm way ahead of the rest of you. No, you haven't. That's that's Machio. It's you thinking that you have to put yourself above everybody else. This is unprecedented, what is going to happen. You haven't been out there in the way we're talking about. Yes, you do go out into the other realms in dream state. Some of you do astral projection. I just call it mind crap projection. Because you're just, can I say fuck?
Go ahead.
You're just fucking in your mind. I mean, I don't understand sometimes, but this is unprecedented. You have not been, this parkway, this path, this to the other realms has not opened yet. You haven't been doing it. This is new. You might take some old pathway to some places, but give yourself the gift of allowing that this is brand new and you've been part of helping to create it. So it's unprecedented. So for the realm workers, you'll start to realize what you've really been doing in this life. You've had the physical body, and oftentimes you've neglected it. You haven't given it the nurturing, the comfort, the joy, the sensuality. A lot of times you just become mentally occupied to kind of keep yourself busy, but you haven't given that human self what you could have. It's kind of like an estranged couple. And you've had the human down here doing its thing, and it's running around trying to figure out, why am I here? Why am I here? Well, you, the other part of you, has been off in these realms doing this pretty incredible work. I'm going to ask now all of you who have been realm workers to now nurture your human self. Give your human self the essence of health. Give it the essence of abundance. Give it your love. Give it your care now. Your work in the other realms is somewhat coming to a close. You're going to be returning to your human self. So best now to start really, really nurturing that human. You've kind of been absent for a long time. That human has just been kind of existing on the planet. Now, love it. Integrate back with it. Work is almost done there. in the other realms, and now it's time for you to get back to being a human master, an enlightened human being on the planet. Let's take a good deep breath with that. For many others, you've been active on the planet, doing things also of importance, helping to bring in and into ground so much of this time of the machines. But for those who don't feel you've been the realm workers, off in the other realms, for the humans here, for Shaumbra here, I'd like you to take a moment to acknowledge what they've been doing. It's kind of been somewhat of a, not a denial of their human self, but they haven't been giving themselves the true, full human experience because they've been busy. Let's take a moment to honor all of the realm workers and welcome them back home. Zoom tight. Okay, let's get into the shout now. What? I've only been talking for 3 or 4 minutes. Let's get into the shout.
Adamus, it's not a problem. The pizza doesn't come till 4:30.
Oh, so my lecture is determined by pizza delivery.
I'm just giving you a fact.
Humans, huh? You gotta laugh. We're gonna have a little fun today. We're gonna do a test. I know you love tests. Yeah. Oh no. And usually, when you have a test, it's it's about the answer that you give. That's how you get graded, right? It's about your answer. We're going to do it a little different today. We're going to do it the Adamus way.
Of course.
It'll be about the question that you ask.
Ooh.
That is the test. We're going to be asking for volunteers, truly. I mean, by raising of your hand. But if there's not enough hands to fill the next 2 hours, Linda will be picking volunteers. I want you to give me other Shaumbra, your best question. Your best question. That does not include things, what should I name my dog? We're actually going to have audience participation in there. Either it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. The one with the very best question is going to receive
a free pizza.
A free pizza. All the pizza you can eat and $100 cash. Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Incentive.
So I want you to feel into for a moment. You're going to be coming up here on stage. You're going to be sitting right where Linda's sitting. We're going to need another chair over here for Linda. And to make it even more interesting, for those of you at home, you can play along. What question would you ask if you were sitting in the chair? What question, your best question, what question would you ask? And Linda explained how they can do that.
So the way that you can play along and be a part of this is go to Crimson Circle on Facebook and go to that group. And of course, you have to be a member, but go to that group and post your question there where others can see it. So once again, go to Facebook to the Crimson Circle group called Crimson Circle on Facebook and post your question on Facebook in the group.
Yeah, and we won't be answering those questions, but you can play along. What if I came up to the front to ask the question?
And it'll be entertaining for others later.
Yeah. Now, what I'm doing here is I want you to realize through this little fun test where I'm the game show host, how far you've come, because truly, it's not about the answers that you give, it's about the questions that you ask. Mm-hmm. I want you to be able to feel your own wisdom through the very question that you would ask right now. The one question that doesn't count is, I don't have any questions. That kind of ruined my game, if everybody said that, we'd be done in at least an hour. So we're going to put on some music. You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes to what question?
Feel into it.
Again, it's going to be by your choice to come up here. What question would you have? And I will be trying to answer it if I can. really tell a lot about a master by the questions they ask, not the answers that they give. What question do you ask? How far has your wisdom taken you? Tobias used to do these question and answer sessions years ago. I'd drop in once in a while and listen, and I had to leave quickly. And he had a lot more patience than I do. Actually, I have none. And the questions were so human. But you're masters now, and true masters. What questions do you have? Give me your best. Not yet. Okay, you've had enough time. All right, let's get in with it. By show of hands, if you want to come up. If you don't, that's fine. By show of hands, you come up to the front. Linda will give you the microphone, and away we go. All right. Master number one, please.
I've never come up
Wait for the
Yeah, you get to sit down. And Carrie, do we have any? Would you like something to eat?
No, thank you.
You know, drink?
No, thank you.
No. Okay. Good.
So, like 5 months ago, I was hospitalized and I had all these things,
okay.
electric things coming at me, and I had some sort of experience. They had electrode things. They thought I was going crazy, and I think I was, and I felt like Crimson Circle was all about me, and I kept thinking of you, Adamus, and
Thanks.
and so I never really had any experience like that, and then I was hospitalized again. And then I was in jail last week, a week ago today, I was in jail. So I'm going a little crazy.
No, you're just Shambra.
And
No.
as a Shambra and as a
How'd you get
person-
out of jail?
Well, they released me.
Yeah, but I mean,
I had a.
good.
I had a-
That's good.
I
You
had a-
didn't break out
I
or
had
anything.
a bail
like,
hearing.
right?
and they-
What'd you do?
So I have a drinking issue, and between my mental health crisis and my drinking issue, I lost control. of
Taking
him-
medication?
My husband. Yeah, but it was drinking that put me over the edge, and so my husband was scared because I was screaming, "Do not resuscitate!" And so the police came and they took me to jail. So I got a court date this week and everything. I guess I'm just asking, I don't know, as a human or as a sovereign, I'm not
gonna
quite sure
stop
where
you. You
to
just said
be.
something that almost melted me. I thought I heard the words "I don't know," but you do know. But continue on. Normally, I'd send you to the bathroom. Oh, thank you.
Oh, you have in the past when we were at Coal Creek. You have. That was like 10 years ago. So I guess I just am trying to figure out, is all we are. I'm really scared, and I want to know how not to be so scared.
Right.
Because I'm really scared.
Do you really want to hear my answer?
I do. I'm really
Okay,
scared.
you're not going to like it though. And I had a little discussion with Calder about this the other day, not about your imprisonment, but a little discussion. First of all, before I give you my answer, I'm going to tell you, would you just have fun with it? And I'm serious. It's a frickin' story. I mean, it's a great story. I mean, you end up in jail, and but you're
I'm
here.
just a mother
and
a wife.
No, you're not. No, have fun. See, you're looking at it. Oh, I got this heavy story. Have fun with your story. Have fun. And the police came, and then I ran like hell, but they came around the corner,
No, they
cruiser after
took me in
cruiser,
my
and then the
pajamas,
helicopter.
my pajamas and socks.
Were they
No,
clean?
it was- my pajamas?
No,
were,
the
yeah.
police.
Oh, the police.
You have to laugh, okay? Otherwise, you're going to crush yourself.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, And I had a little talk with Calder about this the other day, and he and I, well, it was an argument. It was a domestic quarrel because he doesn't like when I say this, but I'm going to say it. You are having a lot of fun with all this, and that's why you keep doing it. I'm serious. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. It is that simple. If you're doing something in your life, it's because you like it. It's giving you something. And I don't care who the person is, what the condition is. I don't care if it's somebody that's handicapped, mentally retarded, emotionally imbalanced. They are getting something from it, period.
Well, I was getting something from alcohol.
Sure, but you are. But your whole drama, your whole I am worthless. And that's what it boils down to, right? Boom. Mic drop. You throw the mic down. Yeah.
Oh, we've been saying all day. Wow.
Now, why do you continue with this dreary story of I'm not worthy? You want somebody to come along and say, oh, no, you're so worthy. And,
Want to be worthy.
just be done with the story. You're still having fun with it. And I'll have fun with you. And we'll talk about how miserable your life is and all the rest of that. But just change it. They want to change, right? Or do you want her story to stay the same? No, okay. You have to take a look. What am I deriving from all this? Okay, it's based on the issue of self-worth. And you don't feel worthy to give yourself self-worth, right?
Right.
Okay, so you're looking for it from everybody else, relationships and alcohol and everything else, and then you magnetically draw things into your reality to make you feel worthless, like getting thrown in jail. And you're just like, see, I'm not worthy, and you're waiting for some big event to happen to change that. And you've been waiting. This isn't just the first lifetime, my dear. You go in and out of lack of worthiness. What are you getting from it?
Obviously nothing.
Attention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there's something in the attention that you get from it that feeds you temporarily. Then you got to go back to drinking and medications and drama life and everything else. It just comes to a point you say, I'm done with that game, with that old story. You don't need to manufacture self-worth. You don't have to say, I'm worthy because, given these reasons, I'm worthy because. I'm worthy. That's it. I am worthy. I think I did a master's pause on that. I am worthy.
I'm worthy.
And you didn't believe it.
I am worthy.
Yeah, you still didn't believe it. Yeah. You're saying it, but you don't believe it. But ask yourself, what am I getting from all this crap? And why do I still play the game? And then the moment you realize, listen to the master self, your soul, whatever you want to call it, and then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, that game's over with. And I don't need the drinking. I don't need the attention from others. I don't need the drama, the ongoing drama in my life. I just don't need it anymore. Now, your human self is going to say, yeah, but what are you going to fill that with? Once we go beyond all this attention getting and all this dreariness, what are you going to fill it with, huh? Because you're not worthy. You don't know what to fill it with. Tell that part of the human mind, that aspect, to go fuck itself. And no, I mean it. You have to talk like that. Please aspect, please stop, tormenting me. Go fuck yourself, And it's a very spiritual thing, highly spiritual. No, I mean, it's a Zen master, ascended master. We all say it because, the timid little spiritual human, oh, please, it's like, go fuck yourself. I'm the boss here, and I'm done with that old story and the old drama. You gotta, there's that human aspect that it's deriving something. It's getting things from all that. Ask what it's getting, and you tell it it's done with. And you don't have to repeat mantras. I am powerful. I am glorious. I am worthy. You just take a deep breath. I am worthy. That's it. And now the bottle of alcohol and the medications and all the drama is going to come to you and say, yeah, but let's keep playing the game a little while longer just because you're not quite ready. Go fuck yourself. I mean, and you know how aspects respond when you tell them that? Typically, the aspects are used to you being scared of them and like they've got the power. And you say, go fuck yourself. And they're like, geez, okay. Whoa, something's changing here in Disneyland. It's like, wow. Okay, wow, finally. Then they go and tell the other aspects, you know what she told me today? Go fuck myself. Yeah. And they all start cheering and applauding. It's like, because they're tired of the game. And they're like, yes, let's go fuck our... And I mean it when I say this is one of the most spiritual things you'll hear today. Because let's get over this crap of everybody being nicey and then letting your aspects and your dark energies take over your whole life. Go fuck yourself. I'm here.
I am here.
LaDonna's back in town. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Good. Okay. What a way to start the game. Oh, I have to ask the audience here, and you can participate online. Was that thumbs up or thumbs down? Oh, thumbs up. Okay, good. Whew. Good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a seat. Like anything to drink, eat?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
I was wondering if
Good.
that's real coffee. It looks like it is.
Yeah, actually, you want to smell it?
No, I can tell-
No, it is. I don't know why people, it's a conspiracy, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, I've heard that theory.
What question?
So my question is the many worlds theory of physics true? Is that reality? Is there a version of me that's a professional singer? Is there a version of me that's, a billiards player? Or is there a version of me that once dated Madonna?
No, you're dreaming now. Madonna. I was going along with the other stuff, but yes, it is very true, the other worlds theory. Now, it depends, again, how you look at it. You have parts of yourself right now that are acting out in the other realms. Sometimes you're kind of aware of, sometimes not. And they're in many, many levels of acting out. And some of them are acting out that they're abundant, rich. Others are acting out a pool player. I don't know if that's important, but it's happening. There are so many layers and levels. It's beyond the fathoming of the human mind. But the problem has been, like when you, the human, really desire something, really want something in life, what kind of work do you do?
I'm a manager of a network operations team.
Okay, and you want to have your own network, your own operations. You want to start your own company, but damn, it just never seems to work out. Or you want to sail around the world, and it's a dream, but it's actually not a dream. It's happening in the other realms, and you want to bring it here, but you're constantly frustrated, and then you don't believe in yourself, and you say, "Oh, these are just dreams." They're stuck in the other realms, but they're really, really happening. And the question is, how do you get them here? How do you get your dreams here? So many of you right now want to quit your jobs and do something, but you're lost and stuck. And then you go into all this mental quagmire, which guarantees that'll never happen. With Heaven's Cross, we open that up, but it's a little bit of a Pandora's box because there's all the other worlds out there. Your worlds, forget about anybody else. All your other, where you're dating Madonna? Or
That was just a random thought.
oh, okay. But I think you have certain sexual interest there about her.
Visions of grandeur.
Okay, visions of grandeur. But there is a realm out there where you are a singer. And it's been frustrating. How do you get it here? And then the human goes along day after day with the dreams, which are real, but not able to get them here. That changes with Heaven's Cross, with the accessibility into your other realms. Suddenly, and it's kind of an oh crap moment, you realize, actually, I can bring that here. Now, the human is going to want to define it. It says it has to look like these specific things. I'll talk post Heaven's Cross about it. Take the essence of it, the singing, and you bring it here. And don't say it has to be like such or you have to be world famous or anything. It's just bring the essence of the singer here or the pool player, whatever it happens to be. And then watch how it starts manifesting. The dreams that you've had that just never could manifest, they start actually becoming available. There's a big caution in there, though, which we'll get into later. A big caution. What do you really want? But yes, there are many, many, many worlds, many, many dimensions. I'm going to call them heavens.
Okay.
Many heavens.
So do you go into these realms with intention, say, okay, I'd really like this to manifest, and then picture yourself there or feel into it, or is there a formula or a way to make
The
it
human's
happen?
going to have the tendency to want to go there and say, I want exactly this and that. But some of our post Heavens Cross discussions, I want to talk about the fact you as a human and the master you already know what you want. Now, you don't even have to define it. You just have to sit your ass on a park bench and allow it to come in. What is most resonant with you will come in first. You don't have to go out there and say, okay, I'm going to pick, I want to do this and I want to do that. That's where you get into the human limitation. You simply open up and you watch how the things that really are the most important to the human, the master, and the soul start coming in.
Okay, so this is another level of allowing your energy
Yes,
to serve you.
absolutely. And it's what I call true grace, where you don't have to go in, because typically if I said, okay, go out there in the other realms and pick what you want and bring it back here, it'd be confusing for a lot of humans. I don't know what I want. I'm not sure. And then they start limiting themselves, or they start screwing it up. Watch what happens as you just start allowing the dreams to come here, and it's what is in the greatest resonance with the human, the master, and the soul will come in. Yeah, and it could be singing. It could be just the kind of a rejuvenation of the human body. It could be many, many things. But yes, many worlds, absolutely. That's been the frustration, because it's like this is the world, the only world for so many people, and yet there's so much happening out there.
And physics actually describes the many worlds theory, but they can't prove it.
Right. Yeah, it's very difficult to prove. I mean, how do you prove it? But if enough people experience it, that becomes the proof, even though they can't scientifically validate it. But that being said, they're going to, because now, particularly as the technologies enable physicists to really now track the particles and light waves, and they're going to realize some, as Einstein said, some very spooky things are happening, and that defies all the current understandings of physics. But that's going to open them up to realizing things move in and out of different realms, different worlds, and it's been happening forever. I mean, it's not a new occurrence. It's just that the focus has been on the science of this realm. And then when you think about it, science hasn't been around for very long. Not at all. I mean, maybe 800 years, maybe. But it's all new. But all that's going to change. And it's going to change. Yeah.
Very exciting. Thank you.
Good. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Oh, double thumbs up. Okay. Wow. You might be on your way to $100. You talk about other worlds. Whew. Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good. How's that chair feel?
It feels good to be up high, but it's a little bit stiff.
A little stiff. Yeah. Well, Calder and Linda, they have to stay awake during these things.
Understandable.
We don't want to give them a comfortable chair. Would you like a pillow?
No, I feel I'm getting more relaxed.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're feeling into Linda's energy and the ones who've
Yes.
sat there. Just don't fall asleep on us. Okay.
Okay, I'll stay
I want
awake.
a really good question.
Okay. I have to feel into this because I can feel the sort of the energies flowing without going beep, beep, beep in my head.
I know. Isn't that terrible?
It's fucked up.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to feel into it. So the feeling came when you said electrons going in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And I can just feel sort of the joy bubbling up, which is like, what is it like? Like, first of all, when I feel into that, I feel such a joy, like a deep joy, electrons going in and out of reality. And I'm like, what is it like to like consciously know as a master that I'm like touching all of those? And orchestrating them, or I don't know how to explain it. It's like dancing with them as my soul song and knowing that they're dancing to me, but here in this fucking reality.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that, like, what is that like? Ready, go.
Yeah. So what kind of work? What kind of work do you do?
I'm a biochemist.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
So you understand kind of how
Yeah.
this all works, and now you want to experience it, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. A couple of things. You'll be able to have a more full experience after March 22nd. And I keep, I hate to keep using that date, but it's true. And then what you do is, what kind of music do you like?
I don't really listen to that much music, to be honest.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's never like, I mean, there are some songs that resonate with me, but like I don't naturally listen to
Do you
music
like the
a lot.
music they play here at Crimson Circle?
I fucking love it.
See? Okay.
Sorry.
Get some of that from them, some of the music. And then where are you going to be on March 23rd?
Is that the day after?
Yeah.
Is that like a Thursday or something?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I don't know. I'll be at work and then at home, maybe some
Okay.
yoga.
Stay home that day. Take a sick day and put on some music. Get it from Crimson Circle.
Okay.
And then when you get up in the morning, just have a cup of coffee or whatever, and then turn on the music and start dancing.
Oh, I do love dancing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you don't like music.
I don't like music in that, like I never gravitate towards a favorite thing, but if
Right.
something comes and it moves me, I'm like, yeah, but it's not like I love this
Okay.
music.
And then you start dancing and let yourself open up. And pretty soon you're going to be dancing with the photons and the electrons,
Okay.
and you're going to be dancing with the light and the electromagnetics, and you can go all the way back through into the light, back into the energy, back into the what I call the Devir, and into consciousness, into true pure consciousness. You dance your way into it.
Okay, I can feel that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and don't doubt yourself though.
Yeah,
That's the biggest thing. Is
yeah. Mm-hmm.
like, oh, am I just making this up? Or let yourself absolutely be sensual about it.
Okay.
Do you consider yourself a mental person or a sensual person?
I used to be a really mental, but I've also always been very sensual, so it's hard for
So
me
you're
to
kind
answer
of
that.
tranny.
Yeah, I'm both.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both. Oh, good. No, it's important.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, mental people push out the sensual. They don't
I
let
do
that
love
in.
the sensual, but sometimes it takes over,
Yeah. But this time, let the sensual come out.
Okay.
You've got that facet, the sensual facet. Let it
Yeah.
dance with
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
And if you're really bold, put on your what do you call it, video player, video it, and send it in. We'll put it on for one of the shouts.
I'll ponder it. We'll see what the
Ponder it.
results
Okay.
are.
No, do have fun. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Oh, it's all thumbs up. Okay, good. We have time for about 30 more. A few more.
Henrietta.
Good. Isn't this a fun game?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then I don't have to sit there and yammer, lecture. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what is next? We get to all these important points over the last 20, 22 years, these major crossing points. that
Which
we've
I
hit.
don't remember a lot
Such
of them.
a, okay,
What
so
were they?
you have
Me coming to the Crimson Circle and Heaven's Cross. Those are the two most significant events.
True,
Yeah.
true. And Adamus coming in.
That's me.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yeah. When
yeah.
you came in, that was like really
2009.
pivotal.
Wow.
Pivotal.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. And I am so surprised that Tobias never made a big deal out of it. He said, this is going to be life altering. And it's an important date to the first channel that he does. But, okay.
So we are all anticipating and getting ready for, and I'm feeling the energies of the 22nd of March. And
The
I'm
apocalypse.
The apocalypse.
Yeah.
And I am so loving this kind of going in and out of the veils, kind of. And it's beautiful to see the preamble of all of this right now. The question I have is like, okay, so what's next? Where is the soul going after this?
the soul or
The
the
soul,
human?
the spirit.
Soul ain't going
Yeah.
anywhere. Are you asking what's next for you, the human?
Actually, the word that comes up is soul.
Okay. Soul doesn't go anywhere. I mean, where would it go? Out for a walk? Would it go to Mars? No, the soul is, It doesn't go places. It doesn't even exist in matter. There's no physical soul that you're going to find. The soul is simply, I guess you could say, kind of a place that stores all the wisdom, all the intelligence, all the potentials. And the energy and that, but it's not a place. So it doesn't go anywhere. Now, it might want another adventure. Is that what you're asking? What's the next adventure? Are you saying what happens if I can, I don't want to put words in your mouth, what's going to happen to the human after March 22nd? And what's going to happen to the soul after the human goes through that? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what happens to the human? You die eventually, but after you have what is truly embodied realization, truly, we're no longer just a little human anymore. Where you're human and master, where you are in peace and balance with yourself, where you're no longer battling duality, where you're existing in duality and out of it, where you're here on the earth and you're in the other realms, where you are, not quite the right word, but as close as I'm going to get, totally fulfilled. No unfinished business, no needs or desires anymore from a human standpoint. Now, some of you might think that's really boring. And so what, no needs anymore? No, you're going to have passions, but you're not going to be needy. You're not going to still be scraping along the ground, to find things. So you live the rest of your life as long as you choose in the many heavens all at once, in ease and grace. And we're going to have some long talks after Heaven's Cross about many of you can't handle ease and grace. You need that constant battling and everything, but we're going to work our way around that. The soul now is soul loves experience, loves to go places and express. I got to work this through Caldera. Okay, I'm going to put it simply, but there's a lot more to it. So you fulfill in this life, you become the master. Then what happens at a soul level, you're going to go all the way back in time. You're going to go backwards now through everything you've experienced as a realized being. You're going to go back through every lifetime. The soul is going to go back through time as you know it, every lifetime, every experience, but now as a realized master.
That is huge.
That's freaking huge. I mean, it's beyond huge.
I have to ask the question then, if we are becoming realized right now, and you have expressed, I seem to recall you expressing that all of our other lifetimes are also
Yes.
becoming realized right now in this present moment.
Yes.
Help me understand what you're describing, that now as an ascended physically embodied master, we're going back to revisit all of those lives. Help me
You're going
understand
back
that.
as truly the soul self now. You're going back across that timeline, all the way from this lifetime to the last one, to the last one, to the last one. And what you're doing is you're meeting yourself, your human self along the way, and saying, good on you.
Would I not be meeting my realized self, since that
You're going
has
to be
already
realizing
occurred?
your realized self, your unrealized self, your doubting self, your past life, all your shit, all your crap, all your demons. You're going to be traversing back in time and saying, oh, beyond. You're going to make it. And that's what's happening right now. And that's one of the other implications of Heaven's Cross. It opens the realms up so the soul self can now traverse back through time, meeting every experience, every incident, every monster, every doubt, every suicidal lifetime, meeting it along the way and saying, oh, beyond, you're going to make it.
Wow.
Yeah. Shivers.
Woo.
Woo. there is so much to this, Shambra, and I don't want you to get too mental about it. I want you to be experiential in it. But as this opens, the soul comes pouring its light through, and it goes back and experiences, or it becomes aware of everything that itself, as human incarnations, went through. I mean, everything. Dropping a spoon on the floor one day, every little thing, singing out loud. It doesn't have to be a big event. It literally goes through the whole lineage of all of its lifetimes, and basically just touching, connecting with that lifetime. It's
Wow.
yeah, it's a lot.
Wow. So, again, kind of revisiting, and this is just my human brain trying to figure this out. Okay, I
Yes.
understand. We are right. We have our moment of ascension and moving through Heaven's Cross and realization, and all the other lifetimes at the same time are also having their realization.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we have to be a little careful about saying same time, but it's all, you could say, in the now.
In the now moment, but then what I hear you saying
in the present moment.
in the present moment, perhaps I'm overthinking this, but okay, this ascended, this realized master is now going to be going back through all the lifetimes and meeting its former self in the various modes of existence
Yeah.
prior to being realized.
Yes. It's collecting itself. It's integrating itself by doing that.
So it's like meeting its ascended and its non-ascended self in the past.
yes. It's
Because everything is happening in this
imagine the
moment.
human is kind of on this trajectory, trying to be better, trying to improve, trying to become more spiritual, more enlightened, and is on a path like this. Then it's a little difficult to explain, but in the same experience, the soul is coming back along that same line. It's like two trains, on parallel tracks, and they pass each other. But when the one train, the soul train, is is passing by, it's just reaching out with its light and touching the other train, the old, let's call it an old steam engine, and saying, you made it. So just keep going. You made it. And that light coming from the soul train going back in time affects this old broken down steam engine. And the steam engine suddenly realizes, I'm not an old broken down steam engine. I am that I am. And boom, now the two, the train from the future and the train from the past passing by each other, suddenly become one.
Wow.
It's unimaginable to the human, but it's happening
That would create energy right there.
beyond. It doesn't create
It's not
energy.
even about energy.
It doesn't create energy. It binds together consciousness and energy.
Which is
Holy
a whole
shit.
other lesson.
Okay, good question,
The
bad
soul
question.
train. Thank
All
you.
right, good question. We have time for two more.
Music album to dance to.
It is. Can you sing a few bars?
No,
Okay.
I don't want to hurt anybody.
Maybe the production desk can pull it up in the back while
Really?
we're talking. Soul Train. Who did it?
I have it.
No, who did it?
Soul Train.
Oh, what's the song?
It's a whole bunch of songs. It's an album.
Oh, wow, that's what I know.
It's a group.
Okay.
It's a group.
Welcome, sir. How are you? Good. And
You can get it
Carrie.
online.
Oh, Carrie.
Here, you want more coffee, Adamus? Is that your
I've been sending the
do you
signal out to
want?
Carrie.
Okay.
Hello,
Here.
hello,
Will you take
Adamus.
that to Carrie?
More, another
Thank you.
coffee.
She's working on the pizza that's coming in 20 minutes.
It's not that important. My coffee. Okay, good. All right, we're moving along. And keep in mind, who gets the 100? Okay?
Oh.
All right, so continue on. And how do you pronounce your name?
Really,
Really? Okay, really.
so good to be here.
And then the other part of you would be, your counterpart would be unruly?
Yeah,
Never thought of that, did you? No.
I needed your help with that.
Okay. What's your question?
Well,
Hold up the mic.
I'm gonna be one of those very annoying people and say, "Hey, couldn't really come up," but I had an old question.
Okay.
That's kind of been evolving, and it's still a valid one.
Right, right.
And I feel the
the mic up.
answer.
Isn't that annoying?
No,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
better. I feel like the answer is there. I can feel I don't quite have the words, so it would be nice since you're asking us to ask
Sure.
questions
Right.
to go ahead and ask a question. So the whole thing is, right now I feel like this person that I am, this personality, Ruli,
Really?
and when I transition over to what we call the other side, what I wonder is, will it still feel like me? Because I know that I understand that we're stepping into a larger part of us, of which we're only a tiny little speck, perhaps.
So the question is,
Will it feel like me? Will it feel like a continuation of me continuing on? Perhaps just as a much more expanded version of me is
Right.
what I think is the answer is.
right.
But
Like a much cooler, more hip, handsome, rich, sexy version. Yeah. Could be.
well, I don't want to wait till then.
Yeah.
No, that's gonna do that. We're here to see Uncle Adam. It's
Yeah.
messy. But yeah, that's the question. Is there a continuity of my personality? Will it feel like okay, or will I just integrate into this
Borg.
big cloud, and now I'm the big
Part of the
guy?
soul,
You
and
were
yeah,
just
yeah.
a little joke,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you didn't really exist anyway. Ha ha ha.
It's actually a very good question. A very good question. So,
Trying to get the $100
what he's basically,
here.
yeah, he's going for 100. What he's basically saying is, do you cease to go out of existence as Ruli, right?
Yeah.
And you integrate into the big soul Borg, no longer to have the definition of this lifetime, unless maybe once in a while you plug your finger into a certain socket and you suddenly have memories.
Right.
So let's take Ruli, this manifestation of a human on the planet. How old are you?
In my 30s. According to
Kind
records.
of, let's not be too specific here.
Doesn't matter.
I'm just curious.
30s. Yeah.
30, 39?
You
You
got
sound
the
like a
numbers
woman.
a
I'm
little
in my
wrong.
30s. Leave it alone. 31, 39, somewhere in there. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And what kind of work do you do, really?
Music.
Really? A musician? Do you sing?
Tracy,
Okay.
I'm here for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. What kind of? I love music. What kind?
It's like mostly electronic dancey stuff that I work on, and I also work as a DJ. But the
Well,
main thing
you
is
kind of look like you're,
is
DJ.
making the music.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the main.
Yeah.
thing.
Okay. Answer your question. Ruli lives on. After you die, Ruli lives on, but in many expressions. So there could be 100 different variations of Ruli in the other realms that continue on. And at the same time, right now, there's many different expressions of Ruli in the other realms. You're living and experiencing one of them while you're here, but yet there are many. There's the badass Ruli. There's the wimpy little Ruli. There's the Ruli that's a hunting sports kind of guy.
Not this one.
No, there
Right,
is.
right.
There is. I'm saying
Counterpart.
and there is the very Zen Ruli. Yeah, and there is Ruli the woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't fight
yeah.
that one. So you have all these different expressions, and that's what we talked about before with Max, is that there are other worlds, but you don't remember them, and that's probably a good thing because up until now it's like let's focus on this, but suddenly, even before you die, you'll start having access to these other worlds, other expressions, and then it's a matter of. Do you want to bring any of them, the energies, the essence of any of those here? Are there expressions you'd like to be expressing in this human realm? So, and then after you die, those never go away. Sometimes the stories go on forever and ever. And sometimes they're ultimately integrated into wisdom.
Yeah. So how do I know this isn't a continuation of that already? Paradoxical question. But
is
what
a
about the
very good
larger
question.
part? Then
It's a
okay,
very
so
good
then
question.
I get to the other side, and then what about the other bigger part that we talk about or think about so much? Then what? It's just gonna be like my bigger counterpart, and I'll just continue as Ruli, or I don't get to integrate with that larger, because we're integrating that
Right,
now.
right.
Here,
You become, let's take both of these one at a time. First of all, how do you know this isn't just one of the otherworldly things? Because once you start tapping into them, they feel very real,
yeah.
very, very real. So how do you know for sure that this the one, or am I just one of those many worlds that I'm experiencing?
I feel like I tapped into a part that actually wasn't here just 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
I knew nothing about music.
Oh, okay.
Nothing. So
Yeah.
music all of a sudden was
Right.
like a switch, and I was like, what? I had no idea. Like, it
Well,
seems
one of the
easy.
ways to tell that this is your preferred reality rather than some other worldly thing is just mostly like physical reaction to things. Like if somebody was to dump coffee on your, no, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to show him that he's probably here in the physical realm, right?
It's okay.
He loved it, right? So, what am I supposed to just talk about it or let him?
He's doubling the
experience it?
price.
He wanted me to do that to go for the 100.
Thank you for being nice to Adamus and not punching him or something.
Oh, I've said a lot of things
I was thinking
to
about hitting
Adamus.
him, but then it was like,
So-
then he'd probably hit back, and poor Caldera would the one that suffers.
Maybe you should be asking the
So,
question.
in answer to your question, how do you know this is not just another world? This is when you feel a physical response. That's a pretty sure indicator. Second question is part of the question is at some point you become a facet. Really, is a facet of the soul.
Yeah.
You're integrated. But there's always that memory. There's always the knowingness. You're no longer dissociated from the soul. You're a part of it.
Yeah.
Just as Adamus is a part of Saint Germain, Saint
Yeah.
Germain is a part of this whole lineage of the soul. Really never goes away. Really is always there in the memories of the soul. Always. And then Ruli, as a facet, can then connect into the other parts of the soul, the other expressions, whether it's lifetimes on earth or other things. So you never go out of existence.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Very good. Thank
up
you.
or down? You are really a good audience for them. I knew I needed that coffee. Yeah. Okay, last one for the day. And then, it's almost pizza time.
Sue loves.
Thank you. I promise, Sue, I'll behave.
Okay, well, who knows?
Good. Please have a wet seat.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, well, this question actually came to me the other day, and it's very mindy.
Okay.
So in SES, we're talking Aliyah, Aliyah.
Right.
So is this integration actually a Leo?
This is a good question. Not necessarily. When Tobias first talked about the Aliyah, Leo, these are different, you could say, stages or levels. And they're directly related to you coming back into contact with your body, which is probably the thing that throws most people off from their true enlightenment. Not loving their body, not touching their body, not having the sensuality in their body. But I would say if you are allowing yourself to do Aliyah, and at the same time we come to this March 22nd, that has a way of kind of opening up. Yeah.
Because in SES you talk about that when you reach a Leo,
Right.
it's like you're just you're not even human anymore.
Right.
You're,
Right. But generally, it doesn't tend to last for like forever. It's an experience that you have, and then you kind of go back into the regular physical. you can have that experience again, but it doesn't. In the past, when people have gotten to that point, a lot of times they just check out. And here we're talking about having that true integration of the physical, of the light body, all together with staying here on the planet.
Okay, well, that brings another question
Okay.
on Caldra's article where he talks, or you answered saying some of us may not come back.
Yes. And the
Really?
question would be,
Really?
that's a statement, and the question would be, there are many on the other side who just came to that certain point, Sartre and many other Shambra, who just said, oh, I hit that realization, and I don't need to go back, don't want to go back. It's not a bad thing.
No.
But what we have now is such a committed group of Shambra that most will not. Hey, we made it to Heaven's Cross, to the apocalypse. I'm going to stick around for a little bit and at least have a good steak, and a bottle of wine, and so most won't be going. But it is it's something that we'll be very aware of, cautious about, and reminding. It's like, okay, Sue, you're here, very expanded now. Don't forget you got a human body back there, and a human life. And you might say, I don't want that. Screw it. I don't want that human life. But most likely you're going to say, this is what I came here for. I'm going to bring these new energies, this new type of energy back to the planet.
Well, my thought the other day was I haven't gone through all this crap
Right.
to leave.
Exactly. I haven't come
just
this
far
far just to
to
leave.
leave.
Exactly.
Right.
But there would be something very seductive in it too.
Yes.
Very compelling to say, oh, okay, I'm gone this far. Maybe I just leave.
Not.
But chances are, no, you're not going to.
Good.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Thank you.
So now it comes time for the payout. Would everybody who was up here come back up here? We're going to do a voice vote. This is for, and Linda, I'll have you hold the money.
Okay.
You just stand in front there. So,
Okay.
okay, all right. Linda, you facilitate this.
Oh, so are we going to get cheers from the audience?
That would be appropriate.
Okay. So just remember, your vote will count. And can they vote for more than one?
How are you
They
going to stop
will.
them? Okay, yeah. they're Shambra. Yes, they're going to. Okay.
So I'll go behind. Wait, let me go behind you, sir.
Might want to stay in front so you can read their names.
Okay. So first, Max. Okay. Next, Tracy. Sue. Henrietta. LaDonna. Ruling.
I'd say give them all $20, and really, Linda owes you 20 because she only has 100. So how about a big hand for everybody who? Everybody played the question
Thank the
game.
pizza,
Thank you
right?
so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll get you your
Linda
20.
owe you 20.
Wait. Here's your 20. Give me a second here. Here you go. Here you go. You were all voted fairly equally. Okay.
Okay.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Let's take a good deep breath. Every once in a while, you have to have a little fun. And especially as we come closer to Heaven's Cross, the energies, they don't get heavy. Actually, they get light. But that causes some readjustments to take place. So let's take a good deep breath. I will do a short marab here.
Oh, the chair is wet. That's why my foot keeps slipping.
We'll put on some music and let's take a good deep breath for the safe space. Sometimes you just have to laugh. And sometimes you have to tell those aspects to go fuck themselves. That's very spiritual advice. Comes straight from the master. Sometimes you have to decide, I'm just done with this. And I'm going to move on. I don't need this anymore. Well, let's take a good deep breath into the safe space. You know, the one really wonderful thing I love right now is that we're doing this together. You're doing it, of course, individually and with sovereignty, but you're doing it together as a global group right now. Coming to this time of the apocalypse, coming to this opening. And, you know, it could be pretty frightening if you were doing it all by yourself. And, of course, without my guidance. But we're doing it together. And together we can laugh. We can shed some tears. We can talk about our fears and our worries and then laugh about them, hopefully. We can share our wisdom like this. You know, if you imagine this beautiful thing that the Ascended Masters and myself are observing, you know, here we are, all approaching this apocalypse. It kind of reminds me at times of Tobias's story of the Journey of the Angels, hopping on that little boat, leaving the comfort of home and going off across the waters, and then coming to this time of the Wall of Fire. It was epic. It changed everything, of course. And for some reason, there's a kind of a hint of that in here. You know, we've been on this journey. You've been on it for a long time. We've been on it together since I came 2009, and now we're coming closer and closer on our pirate boat. It's kind of like the new Wall of Fire. But this Wall of Fire doesn't break us and fragment us into billions and billions of pieces. This one's different. It's actually almost a reverse Wall of Fire. Brings us back together, brings you back together. We're no longer sealed off with a veil over you, not accessing the other realms. You could say maybe it's the other side of the Wall of Fire where you all come back together after being so shattered and isolated. And here we are in that spiritual pirate ship, coming closer and closer, and it brings up a lot of anxieties, a lot of issues. You wonder if you're worthy of it. And so much of what you're going through right now, my dear LaDonna, is are you worthy? It's 45 days away. Are you worthy? And that's why it's so intense right now. And maybe those ones who are close in your life, they'll have access, and maybe you won't because you're not worthy. So you're really crying out right now, am I worthy? Hell yes. Absolutely. And we get closer and closer. The anxiety builds, the old grounding ways, the old ways of staying connected don't work. But we're able to sit here like this today and laugh and have fun and explore some relatively deep topics as we did today, and to take a deep breath and to feel safe. That's what I love about working with Shaumbra. We're doing this together, trying to have fun and find the light in it, and on top of it, knowing that what you're doing, whether you're a realm worker, whether you've been working hard on the human level, something of epic proportions is happening. Take a deep breath and feel into, once again, why you're here in this lifetime, what we're doing, the magnitude of it all. And for all of you, you may be feeling This whole thing, am I worthy of what comes next for all of you? Well, it's time to answer that within yourself right now. Are you worthy of this thing that happens in 45 days? And some of you are saying, well, am I ready? Well, yes, you're ready. The real question of the Master is, are you worthy? That's what I would have asked if I had to come up to the front. Am I worthy of this? And the answer is absolutely yes. Let's take a deep breath with that together. So I'm being requested to leave the stage now so you can have your pizza. Pizza almost here, ready for your mouths. Yes, preempted by pizza. Let's take a deep breath into the safety of what we're doing and where you're going, and all the time remembering, of course, that all is well in all of creation. Thank you. Thank you.
So with that, we close out this very special session with Adamus. Take some good deep breaths, and thank you for being a part of Shout 5 Alt Series and all this interaction with audience. Thank you. We'll see you back again next month. Thank you.
Is in your eyes. A look your smile can't disguise. The look of love, it seeks so much more than just words could ever say. And what my heart has heard, well, it takes my breath away. I can hardly wait to hold you, feel my arms around you. How long I have waited just to love you. Now that I have found you, you've got the look of love. It's on your face. A look that time can erase. Be mine tonight. Let this be just the start of so many nights like this. Let's take a lover's vow and then seal it with a kiss. I can't hardly wait to hold you, feel my arms around you. How long I have waited just to love you. Now that I have found you, don't ever go. Don't ever go. I love you so. now that I have found you, don't ever go. Don't ever